Hi, this is Jacqueline with Nickel and Dime Decor, and we're going to make a cutie today. It's a, I don't know what you call it, knitted hot pad. Just put your hands in there and get your whatever. Now, my hands are real small, and so mine don't fit in there just real good. But somebody else would. They would be able to get a good grip. But my sister-in-law wanted a couple of these for some gifts for her friends. And I made this and sent her a picture. And she said, that's it. That's what I want. So I want to show you how to make it. First of all, you need to go to the computer and type in shapes. And they have up there when you Google things, and up comes all these free shapes that you can print. Then print you out an oval on your 8.5 by 11 piece of paper. Then put that on your fabric and cut your fabric out. Both pieces. You have a backing and the front. And then you're going to need Insulbright. It's that shiny insulated batting that's heat proof. And then another piece of regular, I've got warm and natural 80/20 cotton batting. So I've got 4 layers here. And then I just did some quilting on it just to hold everything together. And then with I should have printed 2 pieces of paper, but I didn't. But anyway, I kind of measured so I would have about 3 inches between your, like I say, for someone that has a larger hand, that just probably works a little bit better. But then I put my templates, or I cut them out of my oval. See, this one's a little smaller, and this one's going to be even bigger. So, you know, it just depends upon the size of your hand. And since they're gifts, I have no idea, you know, if it's going to fit their hands. So, anyway, I cut these out of my oval like this. I measured down about 3 inches and cut it out so I would have 2 of them. Now, I just randomly picked 6 different patterns, and I've got them all. I'm going to move my camera down and show you. I've got them all cut out, and they're in various different lengths. And I want 2 for each side. 2 for each side. And I'm going to cut a piece of batting, but I'm not going to put the Insulbright in these side pockets because I don't think it's necessary, because that's on the top of your hand. This is what's important, is that you have good batting down here. So I'm going to put a layer of batting and put that's just pretend this is my batting. And then I'm going to start laying out kind of a random idea of what I want. And remember, we've got a 1/4 inch seam here, so I'm moving it on up. And just play around with everything. And see what you like. And like I say, we're going to have about 6 of them on there. And just get you a good plan going here. Well, I'm missing, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, my dark piece. And then you will have one of your, and you just mirror and do the same on the other side. You don't have to do it exactly. Nobody says you do. And do another one on your batting. And then we're going to take our backing, put it on right sides together, fold it over. And I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. After I've sewed these on my batting, I'll come back and we'll see what we're doing. My first piece on, I've got right sides together on top of my piece. And you didn't have to sew that first piece down because we're going to secure it when we sew our 1/4 inch seam. And I forgot, I didn't tell you this either. When my sister-in-law asked me, she showed me a picture. She asked me if I could make these. And I said, well, my goodness, I don't have a pattern. But I'll do my best. And this is what I've come up with. I improvised. I think it's pretty close to what I can see picture-wise. So I think it's going to turn out just fine. I pinned where I had that on there. The backing piece, the batting piece, is cut 1/4 inch bigger all the way around. And that's because I'm going to sew another piece over it. So I'll show you why. But just remember to cut it out 1/4 inch bigger than your template. And we'll just do a little finger pressing. And you know, I didn't put the Insel Bright on this part of it because I didn't think it was necessary. Excuse me. This is on top of your hand. This is what's important. So I just have the batting, and then I'll have this, and then I'll have another piece underneath it. Didn't need to go that far, but I did. Okay. Now, we're just going to turn it over. And you can either use your handy dandy, or you can cut it out. You know, I think I'm going to cut it out. You have to even it up. I can tell the way it's cutting. I'm going to have to use my roller cutter anyway. Okay, there she is. Now, I'm going to press this. And then I'm going to pick out a fabric to put on the back. And we're going to lay right sides together. And just sew all the way around. And leave about this much to turn it. And if we calculated our 1/4 inch correctly, it should fit just perfect. So I will pick out my fabric and get that cut out. And sew that on and turn it, and I'll be right back to show you what we got. Fit perfect. I put my right sides together, then turned it after left this much opening. We'll do this one and then you can see. I've got my right sides together. And I'm going to leave from there to there. Just sew this up real fast to right there. Start right here, go around, and stop right here. Then I would have my place to turn. But I wasn't thinking and was getting in a big hurry, so now we will have to do both sides. I'm going to go about right there, I think, since I honors here a little bit. I didn't on the other one, and I wished I had it. Just turn it. And on the larger one, since I made it exactly the way it was printed. And on the smaller one that I made, I cut it down a 1/2 inch all the way around. So therefore these were smaller too. But on this one, I made it exactly like the piece of paper pattern. So you have more strips on this one. And there's this piece. They should be mirror images of each other, and they are. And we're going to put them right there, and we're going to pin it. And we're going to put this one right there, and we're going to pin it. I'm going to redo this. Don't like that. I don't like to do things halfway, but I want to show you for purposes. I'll just show you. Then I'm going to pin it and put my binding around it, and it's done. So I'm going to cut out my binding. I'm going to fix this, re-sew it, and put my binding on it, and we will have another one made. And for my binding, I don't know. You know, this one turned out so cute. I might just use that again too. I don't know. Alrighty, be right back. Okay, we're going to make our binding. Some of you might not know how to make a binding, so I want to show you. This is my last strip to put on. You'd have right side up and right side down. Put your ruler corner to corner, not the blue corner, not the white corner. Put it corner to corner. Draw a line and pin. Because by the time you get over to your machine, it will have all moved around. You can see I've already got all of the other strips. But I needed just one more to make sure. I'm having to piece it together because this is my last piece of fabric that I wanted to use. So I'm having to put like 4 pieces on there. Then cut this down to 1/4 inch or even a half, it doesn't matter. Press it. And if it looks better one way or the other, press it the other way. I don't know why, but sometimes they just lay better. Okay, we have about, I'd say 42 inches, and that's what we want. Okay, now we're going to fold it in half, and I'm going to iron it. I don't pin my binding on because when we're going around this oval, it's very hard to go around, and pinning doesn't help. You just have to work it real slow and go around and work it. Okay. You always want to start putting your binding on the longest length where you have, you know, plenty of room. You would never want to start up here. We're going to go raw edges to raw edges. I'm going to leave just quite a bit. And I'm going to start about right here. And I'm going to stop about right here. So I'm going to leave all of this to give me room to join my strips together. Now going around here, you just have to ease it in. And it's not easy. You have to hold your mouth just right. I'm going to use that 3/8 inch seam so I can be sure and catch everything. Because there's a lot of thickness in here. My goodness. My 3/8 makes it just right here on the edge of my foot, and that makes it very nice. Okay, and when I start, I'm going to go back at least 3 stitches and then go forward again. And you got to be turning your hot pad as you go and keeping this edge, raw edge up here. It's quite a challenge, but just stop and pull your feet up and move your fabric a little if you can. If it puckers a little, it just puckers a little. That's just what it will do. And this is going to take me a minute, but I want to show you what we're doing here, because we have to go real slow and hold our breath. Okay, let's finish up this little jewel. I had real long ends on my ends. Well, first let me tell you. I finished it all sewing it around, but I left that much room because you have to join your strips. And also, this is a 3-inch binding, and I sewed a 3/8 seam. But I cut down almost, I still like a little more, but I cut down this to 1/4 inch because my binding was still a little snug. And when I hem it, I want it to be sure and cover my stitching. So you want to trim that real good so you can fold that over, okay? Then we will finish off the binding. Now to do that, it's so simple. Decide where you want your middle to be, and remember you're easing this up a little. And I decided that this is the middle. It's not the middle of the hot pad, but it's the middle of where I want to join. And then I brought this piece over, and like I say, it was very long. And how do you decide where to cut? You take this measurement right here, put this up against it, and measure 3 inches. Why 3 inches? Because it's the width of the border. That's fabric, and that's how much it takes to join it. If you were doing 2.5 inch binding, you would cut off 2.5. But we had 3, so I cut off 3, and now there we are. Now you're going to join it just like you would if you were doing a strip of binding, and you're going to have to fold this up a little. See how snug this is? It's just, it's very, very, very hard. Now all we need to do is down here is to 3 inches. So you just spread it out the best you can. Then you take this piece, fold this up, and put it wrong side, just like you do when you're doing your binding. And I already drew my line, and I'm going to pin it. And it's very, very contentious because this is just such tight quarters, and it's just hard to do. It's doable, that's for sure. It's doable. But don't get frustrated because it just takes some patience. Just make sure this is lined up with this so that you get your corner good. And I can see that my line is not drawn to that corner. So I need to redraw that. It has shifted dramatically on me. And just work your way. And I'm going to do this by hand. I'm going to draw my line straight to that corner. And that seam might be a tad off, but I don't think it will be by the time we get it in the machine. And we're going to sew it. And we're going to have the perfect binding. It's just the neatest thing. You will be so happy that you know how to do this. When you get it under here, you can manipulate this a little bit better. You'll see that. It's just a little bit easier than doing it over there. I bring it back over here where you can see it. Just like we did all the others, we have to trim our seam and get rid of this bulk. Do a little magic flip, and there's your perfect binding. Fits, fits, fits to a T. I saw this on a lady doing it on, I don't know what channel it was, YouTube channel, or who she was with, but I have never forgotten it because I struggled so much with finishing off my binding. I'm not going to sew that for you because you get the idea. I'm going to sew our, continue our seam and then turn it and hem, and we will have the cutest little hot pad. Well, I can't do that. You ever did see. And I've got this pinned. There you go. Put your hand in there. There you have it. I hope you'll make one. I think you'll use it quite often. And thank you for watching. And come back again and we'll see what else we can come up with. Bless you. Bye.